Greetings and blessings, my brothers and sisters in Christ. My name is Robert. I am the host of the I Am Matthew podcast, where we talk about walking out our Christian faith and trying to be in the world, but not of the world. I am super excited. I'm not gonna bring this out. I'm so thankful that you're here. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here for a while, welcome. We are going to get into it. I've probably showed my cards because you know what we're going to talk about. And if you've seen the title, I'm sure I've already gave it away. I haven't even picked the title yet, but I'm sure I already gave it away. And so we are going to read chapter 14. I can't believe it. We did it in 3 episodes. But you know what? This has been good. The chapter that I was dreading to get through, and we got through, and we did it in 3. It shows you that God is so good and God's word is so good. I have enjoyed this time with you. I've enjoyed these last 2 weeks with you, and I'm really going to enjoy what we got today. So here we go. It says, "Then I looked, and there was a white cloud." Man, I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to read it to you, and then we're going to just start hammering home some good stuff. "Then I looked, and there was a white cloud, and one like the Son of Man was seated on the cloud with a golden crown on his head and a sharp sickle in his hand. Another angel came out of the temple, crying in a loud voice to the one who was seated on the cloud, 'Use your sickle and reap, for the time to reap has come, since the harvest of the earth is ripe.' So the one seated on the cloud swung his sickle over the earth, and the earth was harvested. Then another angel, who also had a sharp sickle, came out of the temple in heaven. Yet another angel, who had authority over fire, came from the altar, and he called with a loud voice to the one who had the sharp sickle, 'Use your sharp sickle and gather the clusters of grapes from the vineyard of the earth, because its grapes have ripened.' So the angel swung his sickle at the earth and gathered the grapes from the vineyard of the earth, and he threw them into the great winepress of God's wrath. Then the press was trampled outside the city, and the blood flowed out of the press up to the horses' bridles for about 180 miles. Did you not hear it? Did you not hear it? It's in the very first, in verse 14. "Then I looked, and there was a white cloud, and one like the Son of Man was seated on a cloud with a golden crown on his head and with a sharp sickle in his hand." He is no longer, remember how I told you last week it was done, it was over? He is no longer called a lamb. At the beginning of this chapter, he was called the Lamb. Now he is called the Son of Man, seated on a cloud with a crown on his head. That crown of thorns, it's not there no more. He's got a crown. He is the King of Kings. He is the Lord of Lords. And he has a sharp sickle in his hand. Now, if you're not excited about that, I don't know if I can get you any more excited about God's word. Okay? The fact of the matter is that up for the first 14 chapters, or for the first 13 chapters and 13 verses, we have talked about the Lamb, the guy that is perpetually in heaven. And now Jesus and God shut the door. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. And now he's king. And now he's coming as a king, ready to conquer. He's seated on a white cloud. He has a golden crown in his head and a sharp sickle in his hand, and he gathers. He says, now I know that some people have a problem with the angel saying to the Lord, or basically, telling the Lord what to do. I don't think it's more like that, because you got to remember that there's an angel that they proclaim messages. Okay, so this is a messenger angel, and all he's doing is relaying to Jesus what's about. It's like whenever it said that Moses and Elijah appeared on the Mount of Transfiguration and comforted Jesus. They were telling him, "Hey, you can do it. You can do that." I think it's the same idea. It's like him almost like cheering him on. "Use your sickle and reap, for the time has come, since the harvest of the earth is ripe." And what really got me about this word ripe, the Enduring Word says that it actually means almost overripe, which means God has waited to the point where he cannot wait no longer. Okay? It's that time. It's that time where there's no more waiting. He can't wait anymore, because if he does, the grapes will spoil. He can't. He cannot wait any further. So the one seated on the cloud swung his sickle over the earth, and the earth was harvested. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that this is a symbol of the rapture? I don't know. At first, I thought that this was not a good harvest. But I think now that I've read this in more context, this is what Jesus said at the end of the age would happen. He said that they would gather, he was talking about the wheat and the tares, and he said that the enemy had sown tares in with the wheat while the farmer was sleeping. The farmer says, gather it all up, and then at the end I'll separate it. This is what Jesus is doing. He's saying, look, it's the end of the age. It's the last hour. I'm going to take everything good, and I'm going to, and the thing is blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. So he swung his sickle over the earth. Who knows? This might, I just now thought about this. The fact of the matter is that there's a lot of people that believe that rapture happened in the beginning. I'm a fan of that. I believe in that. And then there's people that say that there's a rapture that happens that the rapture happens in the middle of the tribulation. And then there's one that says that rapture happens at the end of the tribulation, and they normally attribute this verse. Why can't there be all three? Why cannot there be all three? Is God not allowed to reap and to reap what he sowed? You think about it, it's like this. It's like your primetime guys, he reaped those guys first. And then those guys that go out on the court and prove themselves, the second string guys, guess what? Then he takes those guys. And you know what? The third string guys that somehow or another get it all together and they come out and they're winning the game, guess what? He reaps those guys too. It's very possible. It's very possible that there are three raptures. That instead of us getting so arrogant and saying, no, it was only the first one. No, it's only the middle. No, it's only the end. So what if he does it 3 times? I don't care as long as I'm reaped. I don't care. As long as when this last one comes, when it says, blessed are those who die in the Lord from now on, and he reaps the earth and the earth was harvested, as long as I'm there, I'm okay. It don't matter to me. He can swing that sickle as many times as he likes, as long as I'm harvested. And I believe that I will be. I believe I'll be in the first group, but hey, if not, and there are 2 other harvests, then guess what? You know what I'm going to do? Here's the thing. If I'm not in that initial harvest, you know what's going to do? First of all, I'm going to be sorrowful. I'm going to be very sorrowful. But then all I'm going to do is, what I'll probably do is burn everything that I have, and then I'll probably, if I wasn't sold out to Jesus before, I'd probably be 100% sold out then. And I'll probably either die not getting the mark, or I'll be harvested in one of the other 2 harvests. So, because I just, I think about that. It's not like a farmer, he has a lot of land. It's not like, and I know that Jesus has the ability to harvest all at once, but who knows? He may harvest this, or if like a farmer's growing corn and beans. If I remember correctly, I think the beans take a little bit longer than the corn, so they may go ahead and harvest the corn. They're not going to wait until all of it's done together. They're going to harvest the corn, and then they'll harvest the beans. Maybe this is exactly what the Lord's doing. I don't know, but he said that the earth was harvested. If I have to take him at his word, I believe in the rapture at the beginning of before the tribulation, so this could be a second harvest or a third harvest. I haven't really seen the evidence of a middle harvest, but there's very good evidence of a second harvest, and that's okay. He took the corn, now he's taking the beans. They're ready. He's ready to harvest them. It says, then another angel who had a sharp sickle. So I want you to think about that. Remember how I told you I don't want to miss any of the harvest. I don't want you to miss any of the harvest either. I want you to really, really be focused on that. Be focused on the fact that there is a time coming, and I'm promising you that there is. The Son of Man is going to take those who belong to him, okay? He's going to take those who belong to him. He loves you. He wants you to come with him, but he's not going to force you. But when he comes, that's it. You don't get a second chance. So all these pursuits that you're pursuing, let's pursue God more, okay? Not saying that God doesn't want us to have a little fun, okay? God ate fish with the disciples. God walked with these guys. I guarantee you he had a little bit of fun, okay? He made some sharp comments at tables, which we'll get into at some point. But I guarantee you our Lord, I guarantee there was times he laughed and he joked and he had fun and he played. You know? Everybody wants to give Dallas Jenkins a hard time because he made Jesus human. Yeah, Jesus was a human. Okay? He wasn't walking around holier than thou all the time. My guess is he joked. My guess is he played. He laughed. He had fun. Because you know what? There's nothing wrong with those things. There's nothing wrong with a smile. There's nothing wrong with a laugh. There's nothing wrong with having fun, as long as it doesn't cause you to sin. When it causes you to sin, there's a problem. And that's when Jesus would have said, okay, hold up. That's enough. We're not going there. I guarantee you that's where he is. And so I want you to understand that he's not trying to get you to not have fun. He knows what's good for you. He knows what the enemy or what sin is doing to your body, and he's trying to keep you away from the things that is going to destroy you and keep you from him. I know. He keeps telling me about the things that I keep trying to pursue, and God says, no, I just want you to pursue me. I just want you to do what I'm going to do, which I'm going to tell you right here, right now, okay? At first, I had told you guys that we will see how Refining Fire and Still Going Strong went before we did it again. As long as I can get enough guys, we will do a second season of Refining Fire, and we will do a second season of Still Going Strong. Whether anybody watches it, because there really hasn't been much views, if anybody watches them, I'm going to do what God has told me to do and let God be in charge of the results. So, be looking for that. Next summer will be Refining Fire Season 2. I know we're not even done with Season 1 of Refining Fire. Or Season 1 is still going strong. But just know, they've been renewed for a second season. So, however that works. Anyways, so I want you to realize that there is a good part of this harvest. There is the wheat getting harvested, put into the store bin, protected, safe, has a special place set aside for God. And then there's the tares. Then another angel who had a sharp sickle came out of the temple in heaven. Yet another angel who had authority over fire came from the altar, and he called with a loud voice to the one who had the sharp sickle. So this angel that has the control over fire, because remember he said that it would be thrown in the fire and burned, the tares would be. So it's like the angel warms up the fire and he's like, okay, I'm ready. Harvest the tares. Harvest the tares. So the angel swung his sickle at the earth and gathered the grapes from the vineyard of the earth, and he threw them into the great winepress of God's wrath. Then the press was trampled outside the city, and blood flowed out of the press up to the horse's bridle, about 180 miles. Now, first of all, I want to also come back to this too. So we've talked about this. We've talked about this on Refining Fire. We've talked about this here on I Am Matthew podcast. There are people out there that do not believe that you will go to hell, okay, or that you'll be annihilated, meaning you'll get to hell and some people will destroy it. And I watched this, and I even watched this short of this guy. I'm not a fan of him. I don't know his heart, but what he's saying is not pointing people to Christ, okay? He acts like he's pointing people to Christ, but he's doing it so at the defamation of others, and I can't stand for it. I'm not going to defame him, but I'm not going to stand for what he stands for either. Okay? There's other ways. There's a church in Kansas that I believe that their heart was initially right, but I believe they've lost their way. And I don't stand. I stand for Jesus. Okay? And when you make Jesus look bad, I have a problem with it. And there's times I have problems with myself because I don't stand and I don't look like Jesus, and I feel bad, and I wish I could fix it. And all I can do is trust that God is fixing it, and that God is making a way. Okay. So, where am I going with this? That's a great question. In this, it's talking about the wine press of God's wrath, and there are people that don't believe in hell and don't, or believe that you're going to be annihilated. And this is just another further proof. It says that they're thrown in the great winepress of God's wrath. You know, last week we talked about that there's no rest day or night for those who worship the beast. That sounds to me a lot like hell. And it sounds to me like a place of eternal punishment. And it sounds like a place that I don't want to go. But he talks about the fact that the press was trampled outside of the city. So again, this is separation. This is complete separation. And it says the blood flowed out of the press up to the horses' bridles for about 180 miles. Wow. Which means it's a lot. Which means that there's going to be a lot of people deceived. Which means that you might be one of those people, you may not be. My hope is that you trust in Jesus. My hope is that you believe that he was raised from the dead. My hope is that you believe that he is the way, the truth, and the life. But there's a lot of people that will never believe that will never believe it. And they're going to get gathered up, and they're going to get thrown into the winepress of God's wrath. And their blood will be trampled outside the city, and the blood is going to flow out of the press up to the horses' bridles. You know, the bridles horses stand pretty tall. They stand pretty tall, okay, for about 180 miles. That's a very, very thick. That's very, very thick. That's a lot of blood. You think about it this way. If this was, let's say this is actually, I believe this is symbolic. But if he really does throw it into the quote unquote wine press, okay, we all have about 7 liters of blood, okay? If you was to take 7 liters of soda and pour it on your kitchen floor right now, not much. Definitely not getting up to the bridle of a horse. Definitely not for 180 miles. So I want you to really think about that. How many people would it take to be thrown into the winepress of God's wrath in order for it to climb up to the horses' bridles for 180 miles? I don't know if that's in diameters. I don't know if that's a square. I'm thinking probably a circle. 180 miles every which way. Wow, that's a lot of blood. That's a lot of blood. Which means that's a lot of people. That's a whole lot of people. What are we doing? Are you speaking to those people at work? Are you trying to show Jesus to your wife, your daughter, your spouse, your dad, your mom, your brother, your sister? Are you trying to show them God so that their blood is not thrown into the winepress, that they are not a part of this 180 miles up to a bridle? If I want to guess, I would almost say 5 to 6 feet, maybe, to a horse's bridle. That's thick. That's a lot of people. 7 liters is a drop in the bucket in that kind of an ocean. Is a drop in the bucket. It takes a lot of drops to fill that. It takes a lot of people. I want you to think about that. Where are you ministering to today? How many tares? You may be wheat, but those tares are people. And Jesus is going to sweep you away. And then the angel is going to reap the rest of them into the winepress. Do you really want to be the reason why so-and-so is left behind, fill in that person's name that right now just went into your heart? I know I got a guy that went right in my heart, my brother. Do you really want to be the reason? I wish my brother would listen to me. I really wish he would. I wish my dad would listen to me. I have a lot of people that I wish would listen to me. And there's still a chance for them. But I just wish that I hope that you will take that with you this week. I hope that you would think about that and think about the fact that at some point our King is coming and he's going to take us. The rest of us will be taken, and then God's going to throw the rest of them into the winepress. And so I know that's a really sad note to look on, but hey, you can get, if you feel like, oh man, if I die tomorrow, I'd be put in that winepress. Call on Jesus. It's still time. It's not this point. We are not to this point yet. There is that hope. We are not to the point where he says, doors shut, no more. Lamb's gone, king's here. He's still the lamb right now, okay? Right now, he is still, yes, he's King of kings, Lord of lords. He always will be. But he will first and foremost be our lamb, okay? And he's calling to you and he's saying, hey, come to me. Come to me so that when I do get my crown and I do get to come as a king, I'll get to take you and you can be where I am. Hey, I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thanks for listening, and God bless.